All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nate Manahan, and I'm here in Indianapolis, Indiana, where we're going to have another POS Unleashed conversation where we bring you some of the best information about POS. And here in Indianapolis, when the calendar turns into May, we start getting a little excited. In fact, I'm wearing my Rowback Indianapolis. If you look close, it's all the icons. And one of those icons is the Indy 500. And it's about, the race cars and being able to do things fast. And we just start getting excited about life around here. As I look out the window, it's sunny, everything's excited. And people are excited about new things and new beginnings. Well, today we're going to talk about a POS and a food service system called FoodHub that is new to PayProTec, and it's totally new to me. I've learned a little bit about it by reading a couple of brochures, but I first thought of this and asked Emily to book this today when I was looking at our myPayProTec, and I was like, what's this thing called FoodHub that's on our brochures on our site? So let me bring, who's going to bring us a little insight into that. Let me bring Shane Broussard in, and Shane, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for being part of this conversation. And can you tell me a little bit, maybe a little bit about yourself and give us a background as you are at an airport? As everybody sees, I just love you. I feel like my background's so boring because it's so static. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got to FoodHub, and give us a beginning elevator pitch of who is FoodHub and what is FoodHub?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you guys having me, especially on short notice. You see them get ready to catch a flight back home. So I have been with FoodHub since 2023 to kind of launch the North America market. FoodHub is a global restaurant tech platform based in the UK that's been around since 2005. My kind of journey into the restaurant tech space started back in 2011 when I created a online ordering marketplace for delivery throughout Texas, and eventually I sold that business in 2015. But we were through Texas, Colorado, Louisiana, DC, Virginia, and then I got to work in the software side of that online ordering and marketplace business, starting I think in 2017 or 18 after we had sold. So I kind of got to be on the other side of the table, if you will, which kind of got my journey started on the software side. So, yes, that's what kind of got me here into FoodHub when they decided to try and make a launch into North America. They're a global company based in the UK. Again, since 2005, we have about 30,000 restaurants on our platform globally. We're quite a large company. I like to say that we're the largest company that you've never heard of. We have roughly 1,000 employees, several offices around the planet. Across the UK, Australia, New Zealand, US, Canada. We've got offices and employees, UK, Ireland, India, Grenada. We have our US offices in Philly. So we've got quite a presence. And so I'm excited to be able to share our story and our product with your audience.
So as we jump on here, can you tell me a little bit of where did FoodHub start out? What was the beginning? Like, what was their first problem they were trying to solve? Because as I was looking over some of the brochures and the website and things like that, obviously it's a full POS can be done, but what was the first problem FoodHub was trying to solve in the restaurant space when it was just starting out in the UK?
Yeah, so I guess they approached it from a different angle. They started off as a marketplace. So the primary business over in the UK is marketplace. So we compete with Deliveroo, Just Eat, and Uber Eats in terms of online ordering for takeout. So really, that's where our point of sale software was designed to support those types of restaurants. So when it comes to our software solutions, keep in mind that we're going to be really, really dialed in to restaurant groups like QSR, fast casual, pizzerias, things like that. Local kind of small business, anywhere from say 1 to 50 locations is kind of our sweet spot. And so we designed our point of sale to support the restaurants on our marketplace.
And I think that as I was kind of reading a little background on FoodHub, just trying to do a little research, but also so I'm learning for the first time as I talk to you. That's one of the things that stood out to me is you were fixing a specific need and a specific competition. And then it looks like to me, FoodHub has realized as they've come, hey, First, we need a marketplace. We need to be able to deliver the food to the homes, but also then the restaurant needs other pieces and features. Can you kind of walk us through what some of those key features are? And you already said, because they are part of the question, is what type of restaurants is FoodHub best for? You already kind of been out there, but what are some of those features that are really make quick service and pizzerias that FoodHub stands out, that makes it a reason that these restaurants choose to use FoodHub?
Yeah, so I guess what kind of sets us apart in that space is, our solutions are very modular. So again, we're really strong in the QSR fast casual space, but you know, if they just need, for example, kiosk, we can just provide kiosk. So if they're not ready to switch their entire point of sale platform, we can kind of put things in there a la carte, if you will. Just take the things that you need, and we can play nice with a lot of times the existing ecosystem that they have, which is a neat spot for us to be in. It's worth noting, that although we are a marketplace in the UK, that's not really our play here for the US. Like, we're really just trying to. We've got lots of different products, and we're really just trying to get involved in the transaction some kind of a way, whether it's just creating an online ordering site for a restaurant, a mobile app, kiosk. Again, very a la carte. So we're just happy to touch a transaction in some kind of way, even if it's an API call. We're happy to be involved that way.
So I'm gonna, and you can not answer this question, but I'm intrigued. But as you're going in, are you seeing, like, let's say a restaurant chooses to just use your kiosk and they're keeping their current point of sale system, and maybe you're integrating into that, but you're just going to use the kiosk. Are you seeing that they start with the kiosk and then they move on to other pieces, or they just stay with the kiosk? What's your experience with the restaurants? What are they doing when they just use one piece of FoodHub and that's how they start?
Yeah, I mean, that's a fantastic question. The biggest advantage that we have, and in this industry, by we I mean your agents and reps that are out there knocking on the doors, is that it's a relationship business, right? So the kiosk is just one piece that allows you to get in the door, start the conversation, and walk out with a solution today, because in the long term, the local reps are going to win the relationship, right? If the restaurants have a question, they're going to answer the phone. They're going to show up at the restaurant to check on things. They're going to win the restaurant support side of it. And naturally, as the restaurant needs more things, more solutions, they're going to call on that rep who has lots of more of our solutions in their toolkit to be able to kind of start to chip away at that whatever is the native point of sale. And the relationship is going to win the business long term.
As you've been working with U.S. partners and working with people like what our sales partners would be, outside people that are working with restaurants, selling products, being able to sell multiple products, what are the top features that you're seeing and hearing from the people that are selling FoodHub that are convincing restaurants to say, yes, I'm going to jump in? Or what are those modules? Is it kiosk? Is it online ordering page? Is it, yeah, I'll just leave it there. What are the top features that are the
Sure.
closing points for these restaurants right now?
Yeah, so obviously we've talked on kiosk. That's a great entry point. Other ones that are easy entry points, where again, I like to focus on spots where agents can walk into the restaurant today and have a solution that they can actually solve a problem today, instead of have to wait for the right time to be part of more of a bigger, more comprehensive solution. So, like, even if it's something simple like order aggregation, if someone walks into a restaurant and they see 3, 4, 5 tablets behind the hostess stand where they're receiving orders from DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats, right, and all those marketplace orders, we can give them one single device that will aggregate all those third-party orders and into one single device and automatically print those orders on the built-in printer. So we actually have ways for them to solve problems instead of just sell things, which I think is always a great position to be in. When you can solve problems for restaurants, they're going to come back to you as they encounter more problems. But again, kiosk, online ordering, order aggregation, even mobile apps. We can do first-party mobile apps. A lot of advantages to those ordering engines. They're not paying commissions on those orders like they would if they were sending that traffic to, DoorDash storefront or other third party kind of ordering platforms where they may not receive the customer data and they may be paying a commission on those orders.
Well, and so when jumping in, so let's say somebody chooses to do kiosk, or they do an app, or they're doing aggregation. Um, what is that process, that onboarding process, and what's that experience like for them getting up and running? So they jump on, our person's able to sell, they work together with whether it's POS pros or you and demos, and they're doing that. What's the process look like for onboarding, and what's that then look like for support for the restaurant?
Yeah, so we have that's really where FoodHub shines. I've seen in a lot of areas where although we're a big company in the U.S., we're still quite small in terms of number of people, but it's really our top priority company wide. So there's a huge focus on that, and one way that we know we can win that business is through the support that we offer for the restaurants and also for your team as well. So we'll have round the clock support, really kind of white glove service when it comes to onboarding and follow up support. Our team's available 24/7 pretty much.
What's been your experience here in the U.S., and maybe obviously the entry to the market is very different than what the entry to market was in UK and probably other countries that have come.
Sure.
What's been your experience on being able to get retention, and why are people staying with FoodHub, and what sets you apart in the marketplace? Which is, I don't know what it is like in the UK, but here in the US, there are a lot of POS companies, and a lot of them focus on restaurants, and there are probably 10 more announced today. What has been your ability to be able to get that sale and be able to retain those customers? What's set you apart in that market?
Yeah, so really, I think the what comes to mind initially is, we are a big company in terms of number of people, and our footprint overall, but we just have one owner. Our CEO owns the company, right? We don't have to report to a board of directors. We're not VC backed. So we're good. We're a big company. We process a ton of orders, but we're also still very nimble. We're very involved. Again, the U.S. is our top priority. So we're very nimble. As we get feedback from these restaurants, maybe we're missing a feature, something doesn't quite work like, a restaurant wants something to work a little bit differently. We take all that feedback and we just run it straight back to our development team. And so we have the ability to kind of, I don't necessarily want to use the word fix, but we can build our feature stack based on the feedback that we're getting from these restaurants. So, we're not kind of just, hey, we sold you this solution and this is what you have and you're boxed in. So that's really what's allowed our system to kind of grow and develop from the ground up to begin with. And so, getting that feedback from those restaurants has been a critical piece of our product development.
And I didn't tell you I was going to ask this, but obviously your consumer is people like us, like PayProTec, or other people that are resellers of FoodHub and are jumping in and convincing others to sell it. What has been the main reason that you've heard, or reasons that you've heard, of why people have chosen to sell FoodHub over the many other options of things they could sell, to be when they're looking to serve restaurants?
Yeah, I know there's a lot of choices out there, and resellers are selling all kinds of different platforms. Um, what I can say is that our solution is very, very robust. We're very, very dialed in when it comes to again the QSR space, pizzerias. We've got fantastic options for restaurants that are doing self delivery or third party delivery. So we're really, really feature rich. Where a lot of these other point of sales, they might fall short in different categories. We have inventory modules, we have reservations, we have clock in, clock out. We've got all, just loads and loads of features that, again, it's kind of a la carte. So if the restaurant doesn't need something, they're not paying for it. We're not line iteming these restaurants to death on features that they're not using. So again, I think the flexibility is something that sets us apart and allows them to grow with us as they, are needing new features. They can activate them as they go.
Do you find that as a opportunity really helps you, like, be with startup restaurants, so they can just choose the basic few features they want, knowing that they're not going to use everything in the future, and that you're able to sell, hey, we're going to grow with you, but you don't need to start with, paying, you know, double X when you can just start at X?
I don't know. I mean, it's a good option. It's a good good opportunity. And I've talked to a few restaurants that are just starting up and they're using us. But, I think the more common path is restaurants that are already using a different point of sale, right? And they're trying to get them to switch. So, although startups is a nice niche, I think those might be harder to find, and really the timing has to be right. Where someone who's already in business, they already have their pain points, and they're easy to identify once you get to having the conversation with the restaurant. And then again, most of the times we can solve those pain points just a la carte without having to create an entire overhaul where they have to rip everything out, replace everything. If they're stuck in a contract, then you know they can stay in it. Like, you don't have to do this all today. We can start to implement features kind of as we go, which is a nice angle.
Yeah. So thinking through that process, when you're doing that general, like you're just taking over the online ordering. So as a payments company, then you're capturing the online ordering payments, but not the card present payments if you're just replacing. Is that how generally it's working? And how often then do you go, I kind of asked this before, but I don't know if you can say percentage, but is the goal you get the online ordering? How does our salespeople then encourage them to be able to get to the card present so we're getting both of those transactions?
Yeah, I think it's just a natural progression, right? I mean, you start off solving one problem. You can get the online ordering, you can get the mobile app, and then the key really is kind of taking the data that you're pulling from those online orders and being to help them grow their business with the tools that we have on our marketing suite. There's where a lot of times, restaurants are paying marketing teams or outside companies different types of solutions for marketing modules because they're not really and there's not really ways for them to do their own marketing, right? So it becomes a kind of a pricey venture where they're not really marketing's not really in their primary wheelhouse. We have lots of kind of built-in solutions that are very intuitive for them to use. Text message marketing, email marketing, push notifications, banners. If we have the online ordering, we can do banners on their site. Buy one, get one half. Just loads and loads of ways for them to use the customer data that they get from those online orders to continue to grow their business. And again, I think it comes back to just building that relationship, helping the restaurants helping the restaurant kind of navigate their challenges and solve their problems. Then they come back to you for the next thing. And before you know it, you'll end up getting the business based on that relationship.
Yeah. Having spoken to, I don't know, what, 20 different restaurant POS vendors just on our YouTube channel over the last couple of years. This is a unique model because most of the time we're trying to replace the whole system, and it's a one size fits all. Not so maybe there's some add-ons they can add on, but you were just trying to go after the main piece. This is you're going after one piece of the market. Obviously, you'd replace it all if they're wanting to do that, but going after one piece. What are some of those, as you're hearing from the people that have chosen to sell FoodHub and are being part and being successful with FoodHub? What are is there one that stands out? You've mentioned the online ordering, you've mentioned the aggregation. Is there one that really is the most, or is it just different pieces depending on the restaurant, depending on the location, is it just each one? Is there one that stands out, or are they all generally the same?
I mean, I think in this space, the kiosk is the driver, right? I mean, it's such a hot solution right now. Everyone knows kind of the benefits of kiosks when it comes to addressing labor shortages, higher ticket totals, all those benefits that the restaurants receive from kiosks. But with the ability to attach your payments to it, you're able to kind of, I don't know, again, capture the business, capture the customer data, and then re-engage those consumers to help the restaurant grow. So the kiosk is really the biggest entry play that I've seen from that perspective.
Well, and I love what kiosks do in the quick service market, the ability, and it really puts, we see the kiosk, you see the Panera Breads, the McDonald's, the, major 1,000 and tens of thousand location restaurants that are using these devices that are driving their traffic. And this allows the individual and the single location or just a few locations to be able to really use the same synergies and be able to grow. What are, when you come in on the kiosk and you're capturing all that data, you're capturing the payments on that side, how do you, because I could hear a restaurant owner saying, well, how am I going to reconcile, I have my card present data is over here and my not card present data is over here. How do I reconcile? What's the answer to that? As they say, man, I don't want to mess up all my payments and all my reconciliation and drive my bookkeeper crazy.
Yeah, that's the easy part, right? Because we have loads of different integrations. And so it just becomes another order source for them. So they have orders for, in-person, orders for online, orders from marketplaces, orders for takeout, phone-in orders. This just becomes another order source, and their reports just reflect it in their existing report. So it's not a huge lift. They simply get the kiosk deposits on a different deposit schedule, but the reporting is all aligned and tightened up.
So when you sit down with potential resellers of FoodHub for the first time, what's your closing pitch? What are you saying why they should sell FoodHub over the plethora of other systems that are out there, and what's going to make them more effective, efficient, and ultimately more successful because of FoodHub? What's your closing pitch?
Well, I mean, that's the easy part, right? Because with FoodHub, you're able to walk into that restaurant and you can win business today. Right now, a lot of reps, you walk into a restaurant, there's an incumbent point of sale. It's a big lift, like you mentioned earlier. You just have to hope that the timing is right. If you're going to go for the rip and replace, today's probably not the right day, and it's probably not tomorrow. So the sales cycle is long. The ask is really, really a huge ask. Nobody really likes change. They may be frustrated, but they're still nervous. It's a big ask for a restaurant to swap out their point of sale, and you have to be there at the right time. And so what FoodHub offers reps is the ability to walk in today and sell something today. And when it is the right time, then they're there at that time. So it really just solves all those problems in one.
All right. What have I not asked you when you're making the sales pitch to people like myself or companies like PayProTec? We've obviously already done the integration. Our partners could place it on EPX and our systems already. But what have I not asked you? I always like this. One of my favorite questions. Anything?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think anything that's missing. I'll tell you some things that we're developing right now that are coming along really quite nicely. Is our restaurant app that supports table-side ordering, reservations, the table layout functionality. We do have reservations that's connected to Google, so they can book tables on their Google listing. It'll feed right into our restaurant app. We have a really powerful inventory app, which is like, I don't know how many restaurants actually use it. A lot of them ask about it. And our inventory app is really quite powerful. So it will, they have the ability to scan in their invoices from US Foods or Cisco, whoever they're using. They can email those invoices in. Our system will process those and determine food costs. They can build their recipes. We'll flag them if there's food cost increases. We have time clock management for clock in, clock out. Just loads and loads of modules. Again, and so I think just the flexibility of our system is really a nice differentiator.
Awesome. I'm very intrigued to see how our partners could go and identify quick service restaurants that don't have kiosk and only try to sell them kiosk, don't have online ordering, only try to sell them online ordering, and identify those, because there are so many of them. Those who, we've always mentioned, you walk in and you see all those tablet, I always call it the tablet jungle behind, and, you got your Uber Eats and how you consolidate, and you can identify those and identify that and just pitch one thing and one fix and something that they can solve very, very quickly. That is a different strategy than what we've been using, and FoodHub provides a different opportunity. And someone who, the unique thing is, FoodHub may be lesser of the amount of rooftops here in the US, but someone who's been existed for almost what 21? What year was it? 2005,
Yeah,
21 years.
five over 20 years.
Yeah, over 20 years, obviously serving multiple countries, over 1,000 employees, which I think would put us of resellable POS systems, one of the larger employee bases of systems that you could be represented. It's being able to present a big company, but just solve a little small need, and then be able to move further into that. Be interesting to see how our partners use that and how they start doing that. Let's see. So Matt Proctor's jumping in. I didn't mention this earlier. We got people watching live, so thank you those who are watching live. Matt just said, I already see that Shane is the best, but he thinks he needs a mohawk. I totally disagree. Shane, you're rocking a great haircut already.
Mohawk, Matt. I have a back mohawk.
He's got he's got business in the front, party in the back already going on, and then. He wrote, FoodHub can add features to existing competitors like Toast. Great selling feature. We mentioned that earlier when our pre-talk, you were talking about it, that, hey, you can come in and you can integrate with Toast and start the process of taking over Toast by just doing the same thing, doing just the modular setup. Can you talk about that a little bit, about how we always say, how do we replace Toast? But maybe you start working with Toast first and then replace Toast. It's kind of what you've been talking about this whole time, but I was not using but that's true with multiple of these large POS vendors that are already out there. You don't have to replace the whole system. It's a great tool.
Yeah, we have loads and loads of integrations with these point of sale systems, right? Because as a marketplace, they want our FoodHub orders to hit that point of sale, just like they get all the other marketplace orders. So, through our integrations, we give the resellers the ability to kind of use our solutions how they see fit. So it's not up to us to kind of dictate how our integrations and features are used by the resellers, but that's been a great play that we've seen a lot of success with. We have these things, and if you package it in this way where you can, put a kiosk in or a website or online ordering, you can again win that business today, and you're playing nice alongside them. Again, the nice other thing is an easy way to find leads is, restaurants that don't have a website, or they're using, a lot of point of sales have their own kind of native online ordering that's tied to their point of sale. Ours are the same way. So we'll pull the menu from the point of sale, publish the online ordering, and we'll inject the order right back to the point of sale. But the difference is, they're not going to find their way to where they're getting text messages from, say DoorDash or Grubhub, and then driving traffic to, competing websites. A lot of these restaurants are doing all the right things to get traffic to their site. They're building their brand. They're doing the SEO, the social media marketing. They're paying for things. They're getting traffic to their site. And then they just send it off to DoorDash storefront or some other online ordering engine where they take the customer data and charge a commission. So again, just easy wins where you're helping them solve problems.
And Frank jumped in here, says, is there any company that you can't work with or integrate with? And I'm sure there are thousands of them you can't. But really, I think what you're saying is no matter what, even if it's not a direct integration, there's ways to work around and be able to integrate with. Is there anyone that you could think of that you can't work with?
No, because even if yes, we don't have all the integrations. So that part is true. But if you just look at online ordering, for example, we can take someone's got 3 or 4 tablets behind the hostess stand. It doesn't matter what point of sale they're using. We can take the online ordering or not take the online ordering, and we can give them a single device for order aggregation. But even if we do take the online ordering, then we can put our orders into that same device along with the DoorDash, Uber, and everyone else's orders. So we don't have to have the point of sale. We still would put a tablet behind the bar, but instead of giving them tablet number 6, we throw out tablets 1 through 5 and we give them ours. So we don't necessarily have to have that integration with every single POS for you to be able to solve a problem for them.
As we close up today, Shane, what would be your actionable advice, maybe that you would say, man, if you do this, this is what's going to make you most successful selling FoodHub? And what would be your encouragement to our sales partners that are out there? They're selling every day. They're working with restaurants, and they're probably already selling competitive products to FoodHub. What's your actionable advice of why they should sell FoodHub? And really, what's your closing advice of why they should jump in and get that first deal with FoodHub?
Yeah, I'm going to go back to kiosk again, just because it's the easiest play to, right out the gate. Stick to quick serve restaurants, places where folks are ordering at the counter, or standing in line. You can leverage our dual pricing, cash discounts. We have those types of things built into the kiosk. You can add a per order fee if you want to at checkout. We have the ability for customers to leave a tip for the staff on the kiosk. One of the pushbacks that we got early on from adoption of the kiosk is that they felt like it was going to take away tips from their staff. So we have the option for people to leave a tip on the kiosk. So it's just a super flexible device. Some of our partners are just putting kiosks in the restaurants at no charge, adding a little fee to the customer on the per order fee. Put on a dual pricing or cash discount. And so really you're not asking the restaurant to spend a lot of money out of pocket. You're gonna win the revenue long term, through the order volume and processing. So you're not even asking the restaurant to stroke a check for anything.
I love it. I think what I've gotten from this is FoodHub gives you a different way to sell, gives you a confidence that sell a product that is going to help the needs of the restaurant, and you don't have to replace the whole system. You can just get into one of those, and let's go after some kiosk. I think anyone who's watched me I am a fanatic of kiosks. I love using kiosks. It makes my life easier, and I know it's better for the restaurant because the average sale is up. They can handle, and they have less employees than they need. And even if even if they didn't have an employee, they can take those employees and have them focus on customer service and quality, QA, and make sure everything is working well. I love that. Shane, thanks so much for joining us today. Thank you for busy life coming in right from live from an airport. What I've loved is I've had several people maybe you've noticed in your camera preview, they walk in and they've looked right into the camera. I'm like, do they know they're being live streamed to YouTube? But hey, there we go. So thank you so much. If you want to learn more about FoodHub, the first way to do is just go to myPayProTec.com. We already have several brochures over there. Then work with our POS Pros team or talk to your relationship manager who can connect you. We're here to help you sell more POS to more restaurants, and FoodHub is a great way to do it. Shane, thank you so much. Thanks for being part of POS Unleashed. And we'll see you next week. I forget who we're meeting with. I should have looked that up, but we'll have another POS Unleashed at 1:30 next week, next Thursday. And I'll be coming live from California because I'll be on the road next week instead of being at my home office here. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Nate, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.